The objective of this module is to demonstrate how to use the Copy History feature in the DataLiance application. Copying history should be done when you want to copy demand from one item to another with the purpose of jump-starting the forecast and order point calculation. Usually this is done when one item replaces another, or when a new item is similar to an active item and you expect the selling patterns to be the same. The new item will now have history to use as a base for ordering. In most cases, copying history is a one-time event and is not intended to be switched back and forth between the items. We begin this module on the DataLiance homepage. Select Copy History under the Maintenance column. You are now on the Job Workbench Location page. Please note that copy history is always done at the location level. And before the Copy History feature can be used, you must define the source and target items. First, select the location for the new item. Next, click the Job drop-down and choose Copy History if it's not already selected. Then click Submit. You're now on the Job Workbench Copy History page. At the top, you will see the location you selected. Below that, you will see fields for source and target information. Depending on what search information you have, such as dist-cat ID or dist-UPC, click the appropriate plus sign to pull up the item information. You can click the minus sign to clear the fields. Let's start with the source fields. The source value represents the item from which history should be copied. This is the from item. Once you click the plus sign, a search window appears. You have the option to search by buyer part number, description, dist-cat ID, dist-UPC, supplier cat ID, supplier UPC, or supplier alt ID. Remember, you can use the % sign as a wildcard. When you're ready, click Query to execute the search. You should now see the results of your search. Click the hyperlink for the row of the item that you're using. Any of the hyperlinks will select that item. That item's information now appears in the source dist-cat ID and the source dist-UPC fields. Next, let's focus on the target fields. The target value represents the item to which history should be copied. This is the to item. Once you click the plus sign, a search window appears. You have the same search options we showed you before. When you're ready, click Query to execute the search. You should now see the results of your search. Click a hyperlink for the row of the item that you are using. That item's information now appears in the target dist-cat ID and the target dist-UPC fields. Next, you can specify a status override to apply to the source item. This option will set what item status you want for the source item only. Clicking on the drop-down box will show you a list of available item status overrides. The default is set to inactive, but there are other options such as active, do not manage, do not stock, obsolete, and replaced. If you are copying history for a replacement part, and you do not want the system to suggest orders for the source item, even if your distributor is continuing to report it on the PA data feed, you should set a status override of inactive. However, if you are copying from a like item, you should leave the status of the source item as it is and do not specify a status override. For more information about item status, please see the Distributor Item Status page in the online help. Leaving the field blank will not change the current item status. Instead, it will allow the PA data to drive the item status. If a distributor sends additional PA data for the source item, it will be applied to the old source item only, not the new target item. You can also specify the percent of demand to copy. 100% is the default. You may want to choose a percent different than 100% if you are copying demand for items where there is a pack size change. For example, if the size of the item changed from 16 ounces to 12.5 ounces, or if the new item is expected to support only a portion of the original demand. Predefined percentages are available. Additional percentages may be added upon request to Data Alliance. When you're ready, click Submit. You'll see a table at the top of the screen indicating the job and the location. This means the job is processing. Click the Refresh Job Display link until the table disappears. That's how you'll know when the job is finished. When the job runs, the specified percent of used demand frequency values for the source will be used to set demand frequency overrides for the target for each of the last 52 weeks. Let's look at the target item in Item Details. You see here the copied history appears as red bars if no previous demand existed in those weeks. It appears as red dots if the target item already had some demand during those weeks. If you click the Demand Frequency Override History link on the left, you'll see the source dist cat ID UPC and the percent of demand in the Override Comments column. In addition, the status override will be applied to the source item if requested, and Calc OPOQ will be run for the target item. If you need to do copy history for a large number of location items, or if you have a requirement to copy history and use combined NQA for replenishment, a common file layout is available to accommodate the processing of these requests. Copy history is intended to be a simple and a quick way to carry demand over to another part as a one-off. Refer to the file upload page in the online help for details on this functionality. That concludes this module.